The next covenant we have to talk about is the Mosaic Covenant. Is this relevant today?
Of course it is. The Abrahamic covenant by itself, being the covenant of decision, could not save the world. If you go to anyone on the street today, Julia, and you say to them, you need to be saved, they're going to look at you and say, from what? Are you crazy? What do I have to be saved from? In Galatians again, chapter 3, we find this, that Paul says, what purpose then does the law serve? So he asks the question, is the Mosaic covenant relevant today? That's his question. He just puts it in different language.
The Ten Commandments, in other words.
Yes. And then he answers his own question by saying, it was added. You can't add something to nothing. So it was added, he says, because of transgressions. In other words, the law was added in order to teach the world that it needs to be saved. In verse 24, he says, therefore the law was our tutor. Another translation more beautifully says, our schoolmaster, to bring us to Christ. In Romans chapter 3 and verse 20, Paul says, by the law comes the knowledge of sin. So it was added to what? To the Abrahamic covenant. And of course, we're not talking about the ceremonial law or the liturgical law or the law of sacrifice, which was fulfilled completely in the once-for-all death of Jesus on the cross. We are talking about the majestic law or the moral law, or what is generally known as the Ten Commandments. And we all know the Wesleys. They were called Methodists. And the reason why they were called Methodists is because they had a method. It's as simple as that. And the method was that John or Charles Wesley would ride into a village, and for a few days, without any reference to Jesus, they would preach from the Ten Commandments. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not covet. You shall not blaspheme. And so they would go through the Ten Commandments, and they gave the Holy Spirit something to convict the world of. The law was added because of transgressions. Because the Ten Commandments, in many respects, are a written description of the character of God. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And when you place that over people's lives, you give the Holy Spirit an opportunity to convict them of sin, firstly, and secondly, to lay upon them a sense of a great weight of guilt.